Hey, everybody, welcome to Step into the Portal. This is now for something completely different. This is not a live play. Uh, this is a recap of an event we just did in Connecticut this past weekend. We did the Trickster Takedown, and I believe in the end we ended up, I think, with +1, -1, +1. I think we ended up right around 17 people, somewhere between 16 and 18 people. All playing Loki, fighting Loki, coming to the event, etc. I was running all of that. And then we had some open play against Enchantress. And then finally at the end of the night, we actually did Loki again with like a smaller crew. So got a good chance of that. So these are some of the people that were here. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves and we'll go from there.
Emily.
Nick or C and Spartan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Dean.
All right.
Nostalgic New Yorker.
And I think Dean has a bit of a time crunch, so we're going to go ahead, Dean, and give you some time to talk about what you felt about the experience and the day and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I got to say, I really love, heading. I don't live in Connecticut. I'm as the name implies, I'm a New Yorker, born and bred, and I've been playing Marvel Champions since about 2001-ish. And I have to say, unfortunately, my local flagship card shop, gaming shop, whatever you call them, they don't really carry much Marvel Champions. So I've had to rely on Team Covenant and the Portal. In fact, I bought 2 copies of Trickster Takeover from you, and I really enjoyed it. It was my first time playing it, and I had a blast with old friends, of course, including you and Nick and Emily and Michael. We didn't really play, but it was nice to meet you, however briefly. And, we just had a great time. I think the Portal is a great environment to play in because it's a very spacious store, and you will always, make sure that we have a lot of space to play. I thought it was a great, scenario pack. I thought it was a lot of fun, very thematic. Enchantress was tough. I got to play her twice, and I was part of the second group, to play against the Loki. What is it, God of Lies or God of Mischief? I can't remember.
Yeah, God of Lies. Yep.
Right, and he was a lot of fun. I especially like Mangog because he's a really powerful, brute in Marvel Comics. I mean, I've read several stories with him over the years, and he felt like he should play. And when I played Thor, which made it very thematic for me, and he had like 3 different, minions in front of him, and I can't remember. I know I was helping Nick's table, our pod was helping Nick's table, and he helped us out, and we were able to share the different synergies with the different environments. It was really neat. And I think Loki was like 260 hit points in the first time.
Ended up at 300, which actually I think would tell me that we had 15 people playing.
Yeah,
we had a couple people come kind of right after we were running Loki or mid Loki to add. But so I think we had 15 people plus me.
I thought it was great to get the Boggs father back on and have him, headline this pack. It really felt like, a real, honest to goodness, Marvel Champion scenario. And that's all I got. I mean, it was great to see some of my friends from New York. My buddy Colby, who came up, another guy, Art, who we've known for many years. And then Mauricio and Jason, who live on Long Island. I thought it was pretty freaking cool. And it just goes to show you that, the Northeast is solidly represented. And Brant, nobody runs an event like you do with your patience.
Well, thank you.
And your professionalism and enthusiasm. I don't know how you do it, man. I really don't. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for jumping on and giving us your opinion. Hello, Eric. Eric is here. He's trying to get me to start to play a game. Is what's happening. So just so people know, I wanted to give a little bit of landscape. Larry's trying to join us, but I think he's having technical difficulties. So hopefully he'll get one of his kids to help him.
He sounds familiar.
So we'll see if we end up getting Larry here as well. I just wanted to let people know. So what we did is it was on Sunday. We started at 10 a.m. We had the doors open. We actually played Loki at 11 a.m., which was a little bit of a long because people were pretty much ready to go for the most part. We fought Loki. It took 2 hours and 35 minutes, plus there was some rules, so closer to 3 hours by the time we finished Loki. Then kind of had a break. People got food. People went places, and we had some open play against Enchantress. I think people played mostly 2 games there, and then a lot of people left because they had to drive home. But we closed the night with a 2-group Loki match, a 3-group and a 4-group, so there were 7 of us, and we fought Loki again with just 2 groups. And that went till about 7 o'clock at night, I think. So that was kind of the range. We went 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Was the day we had. Nick, Emily, your thoughts? Maybe on Loki would be the best place to go.
Yeah, for Loki, I thought it was. I really like the ability to mess around with everybody else's tables. You know, we had the as Dean had mentioned, we had Mangog first. And you know, I'm constantly like, all right, we got 40 health points left. All right, we got 35. And another thing that I thought was really fun though was the synergy counters. That was a little messy sometimes, right? Because
Shatter and Synergy were hard for me to announce correctly.
Yeah, well, I meant just trying to figure out who I'm going to send it to, because you know, you don't know what's going on with everybody else, so and you don't want to sit there and, you know, waste time, really. So I would just start yelling, "All right, hey, Michael's group, you guys get this now, and hey, Kate's group, you get this." Sorry, my daughter was there as well, our 10-year-old. So that was a lot of fun having her there.
Awesome.
And I think she ended up getting more games than we did.
She did.
Nice.
One thing I wanted to add about the Loki is that was my first time playing it, was at the event. And of course, Brant, you were, you know, coordinating it. You did this great rundown of the rules that was completely overwhelming because you look at it and you're like, oh my goodness, these 4 cards. What do we do here? And why are there allies over there? And what about this scepter? Does this come into play or not? And I know that the kit seemed to have give like a nice kind of summary rule about, like, I think changing the Loki forms. But I think like in the future, what would have been helpful too is just like a little condensed rules or like the setup just for the individual tables to double check as they went along.
I tried to set all the tables up so when people sat down, but I think people didn't know that, so they picked up the cards, not realizing I had already set it up
without context.
Sure. What is everything that's on the table?
Yeah, and you did a wonderful run through, but like I'm just going to call it the average player, it was very overwhelming. But it's a lot of fun.
It's very hard to get information across to people in groups and 15 different. I mean, I know this from years of teaching, is that, you know, if you talk to a room of 20 people, they then all want to ask you their individual questions. So sometimes the overview is helpful for a certain number of people, or you hope one person at the table gets it and goes from there. But yeah, it's hard to know what to do, because if there's no overview, then people can feel lost. Like, we're just going to jump in if there is that. But it's a good point, because some people learn best by reading. So maybe having something with index cards that have all that kind of spelled out for people would be helpful too.
Our group, we defeated our Loki last, and we were the killing blow.
Nice.
I got to say, the minions and, like, you know, because other players at different places, like all of a sudden the scepter came in and it was just like, what just happened to our table?
Cool. Michael, how'd you feel about Loki? Give me 1 second. Sorry. Spee, I'll get to this. I will answer this question and talk about the different feelings of Loki. Actually, Michael, that's a great thing for you to talk about. Tell us about Loki Big, and then you played in the 2-group game.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool. You know, what I will say is, obviously, Loki's about that mechanic, and that mechanic is a neat one. It's a very neat one for groups that offer something a little different than the typical Marvel game offers. And so it is nice to interact with others. I will say, and, you know, maybe some of this could be, we might think, even though the groups are all nicely together, it's not like we were far apart by any stretch. I did find, so to that question, I did find it was nice running with 2 groups from the standpoint of it wasn't a matter, we just traded back and forth the rewards to each other. And so that was kind of nice. We're like, hey, what do you need? Hey, hey, you're getting this and you're getting this. And again, you can give, again, if you've not seen or played Loki, the idea is that you can help other groups by contributing either, to thwart for them or to contribute damage to an enemy they're facing. So you can work together. And the nice thing is with two groups, the communication between the two was tighter because you knew who directly you were speaking with. With four, it got a little bit disjointed from my standpoint was there wasn't as much interactions just because I think four just got a little bit, I don't know, for me personally. And that was kind of our thing is our table. We would talk to each other and be like, well, who do you want to give the synergy to? Or who do you want to do this? So we just started a rotation and just started saying, all right, we gave it there last time, give it here, give it here. So there was better communication with the smaller amount, but 4 was cool because it offered a much bigger foe that felt a lot more daunting. You kind of, it was a little bit give and take as you're looking at like the 300 HP, Loki, you're like, well, okay, what are you going to do? And you got to control threat. Our group just started going, heck with threat. We'll just let the thing keep popping, just lay damage in. And we just kept going damage. We're like, yep, popped again. Popped again. And finally we're like, I think we're about to ruin it for everyone else. We would have slowed down because we were the only ones that kept letting it pop. No one else was saying it. They were like, pop for our third time. But we're like, just lay damage. Just kill him. Just kill him. Just kill him. So
nice.
It was fun. It was good. It was a good time.
I can't remember what all was at the table. I played Thor Aggression. Colby did the Jubilee Justice. I think Art might have. I can't remember the other two. And Matt played. I can't remember, but we seem to have we seem to have the threat under control more or less. Anyway, it's great to see everybody again. Thanks for having me along. And
thanks, Dean.
We'll see you and I can't wait for Civil War in September.
Yeah, just next month.
That's gonna rock.
That's
gonna rock.
Agreed.
That's gonna rock like Ragnarok. See you later. Cheers.
Thanks, Dean.
Bye.
Cool. Yeah. So from my perspective, running it was yes. I think Emily, what you said was good. Making sure everybody's set. I kind of took the environments and gave them color background so I could reference groups if I needed to, which I never really did. But I was also trying to make those cards in different sleeves so it was clear they were not part of the deck. So I tried to have all that stuff set up and have a rough overview, but I figured it was more of an experience. You flip a card and then you figure out synergy tokens and what it's asking you to do was kind of the idea. Because for the most part in your group, you're playing the regular game. You're not really playing. It's only when it says, hey, you have to do this. And I found the only thing that I forgot a lot, which I was always reminding people, is when you kill Loki, not only do you flip him and do the shatter, the illusion or whatever, you also have to do the backside of Loki, which told you to give tokens to another group. And so that it was kind of like you had to do two things and making sure people remember that. I did wonder, I was trying to be a liaison between the groups, like, oh, let me figure out somebody. But I actually wonder if groups would have felt more connected if I had had a leader in each group whose job was to go out and look at all the groups and be like, oh, you know what? That group could really use unified front. They don't have any tokens. I'll give it to that group.
I like that idea, having a leader. Like I was thinking about that when Michael was talking. That way you have a point of contact for each table.
Right.
So I could just say, hey, Michael, what do you guys need? Are you guys good? Emily, what about your group?
We just called it out.
Yeah,
hope people could hear us.
But then no one takes it. It's
right.
It's always, I don't know. I feel like sometimes you've got people that are like really polite. It's kind of like, hey, I've got a free helicarrier, and then no one uses it.
Right.
I know some of you guys don't know anyone like that, but
yeah. So I think something like that could work well. I have to get ready, so I'm actually going to do this in DC, and it's looking like it's going to be the whole shebang, which is going to be 80 plus people. So I got to wrap my head around now having 5 pods. So I'm going to need to assign pod fathers, I believe, to each pod who can almost like oversee their pod right? And then people within each one. So that will be really interesting to go past one pod, because that would have been a fun thing to do. So people know a pod is a group that's interacting with each other. So things scale based on your pod. When things happen, you can help the whole pod, stuff like that. But then you can actually have multiple pods, which is what they were doing at Gen Con, to decrease the number of people you have to interact with. Because it's awesome if you have to interact with 80 people, but it's not actually logistically possible.
Right. So a pod would be up to, right? A pod would be 4 groups of 4, so 16.
Yep.
Right.
Or possibly 4 groups of 3 to keep those groups a little smaller. It could be. Right. But yeah, that's the idea. Or even 3 groups of 4. That way you only have to say, "Oh, we'll give it to them. We'll give it to them. We'll give it to them. We'll give it to them." To your point, it might not have been so bad if things said, everybody in your pod gets one token on this spot. That could have been a way they did it instead of filled with a number or whatever.
Right.
Then you wouldn't have to make those decisions. You'd just be giving it to everybody. But it's also fun to interact with people and, give it to the group that could who needs threat removal right now, But I agree. Once we played the 2 group 1, it was like the rules felt like Marvel Champions again. And the subset of rules for that villain was, give things to the other group.
Yeah.
Like it really didn't have any feel of that. It just had a feel of, we're just going to get bonuses from the other group and we're going to help each other. I think we got Door Between Worlds and you got
we got Door Between Worlds on our very first turn.
So maybe we did get a Door Between Worlds. We never got Mangog. I know that.
No, neither did we. And in Larry, who was playing Thor, just Minion Slayer, was just like, I really want him. I really want him. We're like, dude, why are you wishing for something more evil to happen? Like, I don't, but anyway, he's just psychotic. So
nice. So we did that. That was Loki. Definitely something to check out if you get a chance. I am going to attempt to run the largest online game of Loki. I haven't wrapped my head around how I'm going to do it. But I'm going to do it, and I'm going to attempt to stream it, I think in the month of September, but we have Civil War, so I may push it to October. But be on the lookout. Anybody can play. You can even have a camera on your face. You can even have no camera and just sound if you don't want to have your face on the internet. We'll allow whatever. I'm going to let anybody play who wants to. When I figure out how I'm going to organize all that, because I'm going to have to create pods that can talk with each other. So I'm going to have to set up something in Discord, I think, where people can chat through that or something. I don't know, but I want people to have that experience. I'm trying to figure out how I can set it up to do that. So stay tuned this fall for joining or watching the world's largest online Loki game. Or if you're coming to MCDC in October, joining in the fun there with, I think, what will be 80 plus people, as I'm told on Saturday morning. So I'm very excited because I love running things for people and hopefully letting it run smoothly. That's always the question mark. So, all right, let's talk about Enchantress. Nick, Emily, you got a chance to fight Enchantress?
Yeah, we played her together, and our daughter played her twice, I think successfully too. We lost. She was hard, but she was fun.
Yeah, I learned the defend, I will always defend with Nightcrawler deck was probably not the smartest play.
Okay.
I think I had flipped my, what was that called? That environment or attachment. I think I flipped it in the second turn. Just because, I defended for her, I defended for myself. My encounter card gave me another counter, and then the next time I defended for both of us, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't think our decks were a good match for that one because I was doing Doctor Strange Justice, and it was more thwarting, and it just wasn't working out that time as well as it did for the Loki.
Yeah.
Did your enthralled status keep you from blocking?
No, but because I was constantly defending, my enthralled flipped over almost immediately because it's
right.
Funny
but I'm thinking you're keeping your other 2 teammates from ever getting counters, so that could be beneficial. They don't have to worry about it. I'm just trying to think the opposite, how you could be helping. Of course, now you're accumulating threat every time you defend too.
Yeah, and that was a big that's why we lost was threat. And I guess it was just funny because Larry and our daughter played a game and they're like, we never flipped it. We never
that was impressive.
I was like, how did you not flip it? Like, I did it almost immediately.
Nice. Michael, did you get a chance to fight Enchantress?
Yeah, I did get a chance to fight Enchantress, and I've had a chance, now a couple times to play that scenario, and I really like it. I think it's one of those scenarios that is, I just find it fun, and for me personally, I like it because it's certainly like anything, depending on how who you use, things like that. You got the challenge there, but it's one of those things that I feel seems like a good fair encounter, the way I would describe it, just meaning that there's nothing that jumps out at you that makes it go, oh man, that felt cheap. You know what I mean? Like, she's straightforward, but if you're not, again, you can get bit for sure, but it just seems fair to me. And again, I kind of like the idea of, when you flip over from that into that enthralled status, how that can impact you. And again, it's kind of, once you play a few times, you kind of know, every side of the enthralled is hidden, and you don't know what that effect is going to be, and it's different for everyone. And again, it just brings a little bit of something, a little nuance that's different. But yeah, I've enjoyed it every time I played it so far.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's fun through the roof. The difficulty, the complexity is quite there. Although it always catches people because they flip the card and they think, oh, this enthralled thing is almost a benefit. Like, I want to ready, or I'm looking to do damage to minions. And it's not till they draw the treacheries that do two nasty things to you that they're like, oh, that's
right. Yes, there's a lot of risk reward in that.
And the flip for the full barrier, where all of a sudden you're like, I've got 50 damage, and it's like, she can't take damage. And they're like, well, I've got 50 damage, so I'm going to sit and hold my cards. It's like, we got to remove 20 threat first.
Right. And that's what I like.
Remove threat.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think that's what I like about her, is the fact that, like I said, again, I just find her a very fun, she's got that challenge factor, but she plays fair to me. And I like that, as opposed to some scenarios you play where it's just like, you flip and you're like, oh, I'm dead. Great. Thanks.
Yeah. Larry,
can you hear me?
We see you, but we can hear you.
Yes, you're never going to be able to see me. I'm too handsome for the camera.
Oh, the camera.
That's what happened. At least that's what my son told me.
Excellent.
Perfect.
I have some weird driver not working, doesn't want to see my camera in SteamYard. No idea.
No problem. Give us your audio recap of the. We've gone through the whole event now, but you just give us your take on the event.
I love it, and it has nothing to do with the Loki event. No offense to Loki. I don't know if you said it because I was late and on and off.
Oh yeah.
I just love the people, right? Like, I get in there. I had a awesome one-on-one game with Kate. We played 2-player Enchantress. I got to play a game with Colby, Michael, someone else I don't remember that I hadn't played with before. So it's just fun, and we got to, I forget what we were doing, but poor Michael, SBDR just didn't want to get any of her cards out to begin with,
No, it took a long time. I played SBDR in that last Loki game, and it was just the forever setup. And usually I can get her set up pretty quickly, but I was just struggling.
But it was just fun. We all just, we carried each other. We went through it. But then it was a fun little competition when we got to not a lot of life left. And you were like, oh, one more kill. And we were like, we want to get the last kill. Right. Like, we got a little competitive. We were like, we want to get the last kill. We don't want to let the other table get the last.
Oh, I goated you for sure.
Yeah, but we killed them. But it was just fun. It's good to see everybody. It was nice to see the New York contingent and the local guys and gals. So it's just, I think that's what just makes it, Loki itself's a cool little event. It can get a little confusing. I liked 2 tables because it was simple. It was, hey, if we did something positive, we don't have to figure out which table to give it to. It's like, for those massive event, and not that we were massive, but any massive event where you're going to give stuff to other tables, just be nice in the beginning to just work out a system. Like, table A always gives it to B gives it to C, whatever. Like, create a system or find a way to have someone be a spokesperson for each table. Because I did, some events like that at Gen Con as well as Con of Heroes, and it can get overwhelming. But I thought, Brant, you did a good job. I got there late and watched you finish up the first one, and you were making announcements, not playing, telling people, hey, we got this over here, who needs this. So that's helpful, but not every player probably can handle focusing on the game and what's going on and listening to know, oh, somebody else needs help. But that's nothing to do with us as much as just the nature of a big event with multiple people and tables.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, Champions is here. It's one of my favorite games. Champions with other people, Champions in person with other people. It just goes up. You just keep adding to that. An already great game that I'm fine playing at my house solo or solo two-handed. But as soon as you start adding people and people actually with you, it's just so much fun and so different from competitive games. Like, people want to show off their decks, but not in like, this is better and this will crush you, but just like, this is cool. Like, or you want to try this or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like a fun, like a sharing of information and things that I think is so neat. And Larry, get ready. I'm running this Loki thing at MCDC, I believe in October, which is 80 plus people. So five pods.
Let's go.
So that should be exciting. Awesome. Does anybody have anything else about Loki before we look forward to Civil War? Or sorry, Loki, or I should say Trickster Takeover.
I just want to know why Loki's not a hero. Was it a joke?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Maybe down the line.
I don't know. I guess to me the coolest thing was the guy sitting next to me, and I don't remember his name. He had a Black Widow deck, and he was able to get Taskmaster out immediately, and he just kept playing. What was that card? Informant. Yeah. So he's like knocking out 15 thread each round during the villain phase because of that. I was just like, that's just so cool. I was telling Emily about it last night. She's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's one of those decks that, like, does it clear Expert Ronin on Expert? And it's like, maybe not, but it's a cool deck. It's a cool idea, right? If you ran it every game, it would get boring, but it's awesome to like, oh, let me try it. Now you're going to try it. I mean, I think of the Falcon Protection deck, which I think kind of started with Steve, but you see it passing all over the place and everybody's trying it. So you go to events and somebody's got the deck because it's really cool. You know what I mean? And whether it was Steve or somebody else is, irrelevant, but just, where it's going to is neat.
I let Jason borrow that deck.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's cool.
It is
awesome. So next up for us is Civil War. And I am team Resistance for next week. People want to stay tuned to the channel, and you'll see some Resistance here. You probably can. Oh, actually, I think it's posted. So yeah, it's September 2nd. It's listed that I have some preview cards that I will show off. So come back to the channel then. But September 19th is the release of Civil War, and the 19th, 20th, 21st, all these people, Dean as well, who was here earlier, are going to be there. We'd love to have you join us again in Connecticut. We're doing a 3-day event for Civil War, and we've got a lot of exciting stuff that we're going to do. We've got a 1v1 tournament that you can enter. We've got a 2v2 tournament that you can enter. I think the 2v2 is going to be where it's at. And we'll also run Loki again on Sunday, as well as some giveaways and some custom stuff that we've made that we're going to have there. So you definitely want to come and check that out. Larry, what are you looking forward to for Civil War?
Boy, you had to go to me first, huh?
Sorry, Michael, what are you looking forward to?
No, I have an answer. I have a controversial answer.
Who's excited about Civil War?
I'm very excited, actually.
I'm most excited to see how our community reacts and how we adjust to a competitive environment that's still somewhat cooperative. When we do 2v2, if let's say it's Michael and I versus, Nick and Emily, it's still cooperative on our end, Michael and I playing, and it's not like we're playing directly against Nick, like a true competitive game. I'm excited to see how our community reacts to that and what different kind of interactions that's going to create for us. I will say this not negatively, like Civil War in the comics is what got me out of reading comics, because I got very opinionated and emotional and upset. I was a little younger and I was like, what the hell, this doesn't make sense. Like the heroes shouldn't be fighting with each other. I got mad at Iron Man for going against Cap. Like so then I stopped reading for a while. I eventually got back into it. So, but looking at what Fantasy Flight has done, I am excited for how Civil War is going to play out. And I am on the hunt. Nick, you're not invited. Sorry, but I am on the hunt for a 2v2 partner to be my teammate for the tournament.
Nice.
Why is he excluded?
Do you want Kate?
I would take Kate, Nick. But
Larry,
not you.
maybe we should talk, Larry.
Nice.
So
I'm curious to what side everybody's going to take. Kind of, Larry, I really like the comic. I didn't like what the MCU movies did with it. I'm hoping
I would agree
that
with you on
more
that. I didn't think the
true to
movie.
the comics, and I'm curious to see what team everybody's on.
I'm on
Well,
Team
there's
Resistance.
I don't
Captain
know if
America
there's-
all day.
Yeah. I actually I'm the complete opposite of Larry. That run of Captain America was where I started comics. So yeah, no, Civil War to me was pretty awesome because at the end of Civil War, spoiler alert, Cap dies, and that's when Bucky becomes Captain America, and I just thought that was so cool. Right? He's trying to uphold this legacy.
All right.
I'm sentimental, I guess.
I guess we'll have to see. Hopefully, tensions don't rise at all, right, during the event, and everybody's calm and cool and collected.
Everybody's probably going to be resistance anyway, so
Someone's got to play the other side.
Yeah, so the neat part about it, if you're hesitant, you're thinking, oh, I might go to an event, whether it's ours or another one, or playing this, what we're going to do, which will be really nice, is it's just a 1v1 single elimination tournament. So if you're in and you get out and you lose, you don't have to worry about like being stuck in the tournament all day, although you can stay in the rounds to keep playing the game because you just want to try the 1v1. So it works really well. If you win, you could keep moving on. If you lose, you could stay in the tournament, or you could go play open play games with people. Because remember, the box is not all about PvP. PvP is a rules element of the box, but you can still fight all of these leaders as villains. So you still have the opportunity to just kind of go and play, we'll say, quote unquote, the normal way. So I think it'll be really nice. It's kind of like no matter where you are, you're going to have something fun to be able to do. And then the 2v2 one will be the same way and on a separate day. So you'll kind of have those things. And then we'll get another chance to do Loki, as well as whatever crazy other things we come up with, and just a fun time. What's really neat for our event is because I have keys to the place, we can open at 9 a.m. And we tend to close around midnight. So you've got a lot of hours of playing Marvel Champions compared to some of the other conventions that we've gone to where they're limited to whatever the store is, to 8 to 10 hours a day. We're running sometimes 15 hours in a day that you can play Champions kind of gathered with a big group without worrying about being huddled over a series of coffee tables in a hotel lobby. So
Right.
That's not specific.
when you play a 5-player game with Kang.
Right, which is awesome that people do that, but like it would be nice to have a table, you know what I mean? And so we'll have tables for people. So if you're interested, you can check out the link below and you can sign up for your badge and you can come and join all of us for that weekend. And we'd love to have you. So
Yeah, I'm excited.
anything else?
I'm excited. No, I mean, I'll just say, like I said, as far as it goes, I think that PvP is really the coolest part about this. It's my favorite part about Marvel Champions is it's cooperative. And that's
Right.
what I love about the game on the big picture. But I think it's really great that they introduced this component to it, that you can do this just to have that element of like, all right, it's fun to throw down. I wish that my son Matthew we're still here. He's in Nashville because, to your point, Larry, as soon as we heard there was Civil War and what the structure was like, we already started talking about like, okay, how are we going to put the two best decks together that can just demolish as quickly as possible? We were already talking about deck combos and I'll X-23 and you Star-Lord and I'll do this and you do that and just what kind of havoc we could create. So I think that's I'm really excited to see. I'm really excited to hear, now kind of process what I think it's going to look like, but I'm really excited to see what it's going to be in person and actually kind of play it, because talking about it's one thing, reading over what it looks like and what they've revealed, things like that is cool, but playing it's going to be the real, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Matthew, is he coming down for the event or is he working?
No, unfortunately, he's working. He didn't. Yeah, just unfortunately, it's not working out. We've talked about it, but it just isn't going to play. Just not going to work. So
yeah. The other part that I think is a little bit missing, and you can think about this in multiple different ways, but like there's so many modular sets and main schemes and these villain leaders that you can put together that, like, whether it's PvP where you come up with that, which I don't think we'll see a lot on the release weekend because the cards will be new, so people will be throwing together what's already there or their favorites, right? Like, oh, I want this mod set because this character that I love from the comics is in it. But over time, as people get more used to those, we're gonna have tier lists, right? Of this is the hardest thing, and I'm excited to put together like, you know, the impossible matchup, and then bring it around to people and be like, you know, when I go to events or people come to our events, if you beat the impossible matchup, you win this thing from me, right? Like, I've created this deck, you can take it. You don't even need me there. You can just fight it in PvE, and if you can beat it, you get something from me. So I'm excited to like kind of do some of those Bravissimo style things, right?
Gauntlet Throne by Brant.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brant. So maybe people might have a question on that. What is going to be the rule for that Civil War event? Are we only using what's in the box, or can we bring modular sets and add our whatever?
No, you definitely have to use what's in the box. That is a good.
It'll be
yes.
Choose from the box, pick from the box to make the villain version.
I would be open to other in the future, but I think it's going to best serve us to use the ones in the box. And so the way, I think it's going to be best to just use the ones in the box and not that, oh, I printed the Ronin set that they made during COVID and it's impossible and I threw it in.
But outside
right?
of the 1v1 and 2v2 tournament, people can try other modules and have some fun doing that.
Definitely bring some of your favorite mod sets, or maybe there's ones that are characters in the comics from Civil War, right? Famous villain mod sets that would make sense. You can even put Nemesis sets in for the casual play. But yeah, for the tournaments, I want to stick to what's in the box or we're going to stick to what's in the box for sure. So that's a good question, so people know.
Cool.
Awesome. I think that's it for us. So we had a great event, and we're looking forward to another great event. It's not even a month away, so I got to get working on all this stuff. But thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, I'm the Brant.
I'm Nick.
Emily.
Well, Michael.
Faceless Larry.
And on behalf of Dean, until next time, we hope you step into the portal. Have a great night, everybody.
Take care.
I hope you're filled with glorious purpose.
Faceless Larry. That's going to live forever now.